Good morning, Jacob. How are you?
Morning. Good. How are
Looks
you?
like you did something different with your hair today.
I got a haircut a couple weeks ago.
You did nice. That's because I
Yeah.
got mine last week.
Yeah.
You wanted to start fresh too, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
We're continuing our conversation about how I'm going to start a new jewelry store. I'm going step
Mhm.
by step. The first week, last week, it was sort of the ideation phase. And honestly, all this stuff we're doing now, even though it's in the span of weeks because we're doing it recording, most people could do all this in a matter of a day or two, what I'm doing in like several weeks. And,
Mhm.
I'll share more about why I'm moving so slowly. But, right now I'm finally in the phase where I'm about to launch. I haven't launched just yet. You're acting as my bad business friend's coach. So feel free to give your honest feedback on some of the stuff I'm doing here. And I
Absolutely.
appreciate that because I know you have a good eye for stuff. And in the end, it's really my, like I said, it's my wife's store, but I'm just setting it up for her because I know how to do all the stuff in the front end. And then, once
Right.
once she runs it, she'll be picking out all the jewelry. But I'm showing her how to test what works at the beginning, with the jewelry and all that. But I do have a couple slides this week.
Oh,
You
nice.
shared a slide with me last week, and I'm returning the favor. I just have two quick slides, and I
Yeah.
created these
Oh, that's
slides from
cool.
scratch. So it's I did my due diligence because I have to say last week you put up a slide and you didn't even know what was on it. So I got to tease you for that because that was funny. Actually, we have a clip of where I ask you what is the name, what is this company on your slide, and you had no idea. I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
So you know, for me, the total startup cost is about 1,600 bucks, but you could do this for far less. And I'll go line by line why it's costing me that much. Right now it's November, right? So we're actually probably not going to start selling until December because some of the inventory that we're going to have isn't here yet. And it's supposed to be here within a week or two. So we should be able to start very soon. But here's the breakdown of why I'm spending 1,600, and I'll explain why someone else could do this for far less. We're not doing the LLC. We're starting as a sole proprietorship under my wife, and just registering a DBA. It's because it's right now it's November, and so we'd end up paying the franchise fee in April that's due in California.
Mm,
Just for operating from here till then, and we're not even going to be operating, right? And
interesting. Yeah.
actually, we can register an LLC in mid-December, and they'll give us the whole year free because they won't count us as operating until 2023. So we're better off
Mm,
just waiting another month, right? So that's why we're just registering the DBA. We probably won't get sales, but we still want to, test it out in case we get a few sales to start. We registered a DBA, which is going to be Julesy, right?
right.
I shared that last time. We're launching with Julesy.com.
Yes.
Reason why, and that costs $23 to do, but we paid 63 because we went to a site called DBA Store, and
Hmm.
they'll do the $23 registration. We pay them via credit card, and they'll mail the check in for us because otherwise you'd have to mail in a check or drop it off at the city. But they're doing that for us, and there's also a requirement where you have to publish, that you're let, creating a fictitious business, right, for a number of weeks. That costs
Mm,
money, and they're doing that for us as well. You could probably do it for a little less if you did it yourself, but it's not worth the effort. It's probably $10-$20 less.
mm,
um, so we paid that. Domain registration and email for 2 years, it was like $20, and then we got a
mm.
whole 3 months of emails for a few bucks. So that's why it's 23.33.
Nice.
We're doing hello@julesy.com, and that's going to be an actual email that my wife's
Nice.
going to be
I
using.
like that.
Inventory, this is where you don't have to spend quite this much, but we have around 35 pieces on our site.
Mm,
In actuality, it's more like 15 because when you take the different variations, white gold, yellow gold, and then some rose gold. We don't have too much rose gold because that's less in demand. I think yellow gold is what's hot right now, but in white gold or just sterling silver is always going to be a mainstay. But we So we purchased like 5 pieces of each piece.
Mhm.
And it's because that's going to give us a sampling after a month of, when we launch. It might take us a few weeks to get a feel for what's moving and what people like and what's trending. And then what we'll do is continue to order that through the winter season. We'll probably have to redo that process, recycle that every few months, until we get a really good feel for, what our main products are. There are some seasonal shifts. So some things will continue to sell throughout the year, but there's a lot of stuff that's more in style during, summer versus, fall or even winter. But fall and winter tends to fall into the same category. But that's why, so we spent that much on samples. Someone could, start a jewelry site with maybe 10 products, right? You probably want to order at least 5 to 10 samples of each product, but they could start with substantially less than $1,200. You could do it for like 500 if you wanted to. But the average markup for us, because we're going wholesale, is only going to be about 3x on the price.
Okay.
And then we're going to list it at 10% off. So what we're really going to be getting in that first try is about 2.7x return, right? Because of that 10% discount. So if you put in $1,000, you could, if you sell everything, you're getting 2,700 back, right? But we're expecting to maybe sell half that inventory. If we do well, if we picked good jewelry, it's half of it's going to sell, which will give us a return about $1,500, $1,800, somewhere in between. So that should cover our startup costs. We're not going to make a profit in that first month. It's because it's more testing, right? But I think we have a reasonable chance to get our startup costs back. And again, you could save a lot of money in the startup costs by not using branded packaging like we did. But some branded packaging is pretty cheap. This is the one place where I do use Alibaba to find suppliers. Is for packaging. You can't beat the pricing.
That's great.
But I actually didn't use them for the first run because I used a broker here on like Etsy. I think you've used them too, just because we wanted us make sure it looks right, and I know who the Chinese supplier is for the packaging, so I could contact them directly after it works, and then we'll get an order. But we're paying like a $1, whereas I could get it for 25 cents, right?
Gotcha.
Thermal printer and labels, you don't need to use that when you start out, but I really expect us to put this to good use. That thermal printer is going to work for years. We have enough labels to last the whole year with $140, but you could start off with just a regular printer and get one of those labels. You could buy these labels on Amazon really cheap, and you can just print them on your regular printer and then stick them on your package. You don't have to spend $140, but I think it's worth it to get the thermal printer because it doesn't use ink or anything like that, and it'll last you years and very low maintenance. They work. You could run them all day and they work for years, without needing to repair anything. And Shopify, you might be surprised that it says $1. It's because right now they're running a promotion where if you set up a new store, you're a new customer, they'll for the first 3 months charge you $1. They'll give you 3 days free to set up your website. And so I played around with that, and then it's only $1 for the first 3 months.
That's great.
And then we're gonna do the $29 a month plan. So starting in sometime in February, I think they'll start charging us $29 a month.
That's pretty great though.
Yeah. So that's where all the startup costs come from. There are going to be other costs. So I didn't have to spend money on product photography, but you can find pretty good product photographers. I think, we use some in the jewelry district here, but I found a local person that can do it. They'll give you, they'll charge you $5 to $10 one of those white background product photos, right, that you see like on Amazon. You can get that done. Lifestyle photos will cost a little more. We already had all the product photography, and because I mentioned before, the supplier uh, gave them to us so I'm just using theirs.
That's great.
But as far as the lifestyle photos, and I'll show you some I have another slide. We had those done already. Product photography is usually the same. It's got the white background, especially if you're selling on Amazon, you have to do it that way. But the lifestyle photos, that'll bring your store to life. And I think you need to find a good photographer for that. And luckily I've found some. And it ranges. Like if someone, you can go on Fiverr and find one, and I've tried Fiverr, paid someone $20 and he gave me a ton of photos, but it wasn't great. The local one I found, it's going to be, I charge $100 for a lifestyle photograph that looks pretty nice. But you could probably do anywhere from 25 on up that I've seen is decent. But I'll go ahead and go to the next slide, and I'll show you some of the ones we're working with. And this is kind of what
it's a great tip though, that you could honestly just ask your suppliers if they have photos sometimes, because a lot of times they do, right?
Yeah, especially if they're wholesale. A lot of times they will, and they'll say, yeah, that's what this is for you guys to use them. There's a wholesaler that a lot of people are selling. You'll see the same photography on the same.
Right.
This is going to be unique because I said this is coming out of Korea, and luckily they only deal with Koreans.
Yeah.
But here is
really cool.
what it's going to look like. These are images from my phone. So this is the mobile version is more important. You got to make it mobile friendly because most of our traffic comes from mobile. Maybe I'd say like 10% of our traffic is coming from desktop, our orders.
Yeah. So you let the data kind of dictate which one you're gonna,
But I mean, optimize for both, obviously.
Yeah. Obviously optimize, but like you doubled down on your efforts in mobile, huh?
But I'll tell you this: we're launching with Instagram and Facebook shops first, so we're not going to have a whole lot of traffic to our website necessarily at the beginning. But that's another expense that you need to factor in for that I didn't list on my last slide is your budget for advertising.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm going to put in about $10 a day, right, to start. And that actually can work especially with Facebook and Instagram shops. I know a lot of people will say, hey, like if you're starting with a budget under like $100 a day, you're just not going to make any ground, break any ground because these days. But I've tested some things with that budget, and it works if it's the right price and you're targeting the right audience. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. Normally I would if this were last year, upon launching this time of year, I would start off by trying to get organic traffic. I would go to holiday trade shows, craft fairs, things like that to put to get the word out and just show our jewelry and hand out postcards and whatnot. For this holiday, it's too soon too. Like it's just you should really be planning all this if you're gonna want to launch for the holidays and Black Friday in the summertime. What we just started to do now. We just started doing I think late October, right? So but like I said, you could set this up in a matter of days. The only thing for us was that it's we're getting our jewelry from overseas, from Korea, and so it's taking a bit longer. I probably should have I should have given them my FedEx account number so they could send it priority, but I didn't want to spend that extra money. So that's why they're flying it over here, and it's taking a couple weeks.
That's doable though.
At least it's doable. Yeah, it'll still be
45 days or something.
Yeah, and plus our packaging is takes that long as well. That's not here either.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why we can't launch it yet. Even though I do have the site up just for viewing, we haven't connected any bank accounts or anything, so you can't purchase anything yet.
Got it.
Oddly, we did get some traffic on our website. I was looking at them like, who the heck is? I do realize once you're online, people can find you, and especially if you're on Shopify, I think people find you. But no one's asked us how do I buy anything yet, so it's not a problem. But my goal is to get this up and running so you can purchase product by December 1st. The theme I used is a free theme, and it's sort of the default theme right now for jewelry. It's called Dawn. When we first launched our previous site, we used Debut, and that's a good one as well. Those are the two fastest themes for checkout.
Interesting.
That's very important, right, in ecom to
Absolutely.
have a site that works fast, because you don't want your site speed to lag. That increases your bounce rate for sure, and I've learned that.
Super cool. The site is really clean. Let me see.
Yeah, and it's very simple, and a lot of times people look at the default theme, they're like, I need something more complicated, but no, that'll just cause people to want to leave your site, honestly.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
Do you have any questions or any feedback?
Man, I mean, so far the site looks great. I don't have any feedback on it. I think it looks awesome. The products, I was scrolling through your product offering too, and they look great. So I think everything on there checks out great.
Have you seen some of those designs out there, or did they see?
Yeah. So what's funny is one of them I'm building in fine jewelry, similar. It's this interlink bracelet. I don't know if you can see.
Oh yeah.
Something similar I'm building in fine jewelry right now, and so very I mean, it's for a man, but it's still like it's a trendy link right now, and it's more for trendy people. It's
Yeah.
right
A
now
lot of
the
the
Cuban links are hot and all those things, but they're not trendy. Those are like always in style. This link here is like more so for the people who.
Well, even right here, I think that's a link bracelet on the
Yeah, you guys
slide I
have a
have.
little you have a little Cuban link style
Rings. Yeah.
ring, which is cool because those are usually staying in style for what,
Well,
and they've
and with the
definitely.
rings, what we try to avoid is rings where you have to size it. All
Yeah,
those rings are adjustable because
that's
they're layering
awesome to
rings.
know.
Yeah. And I think that safety pin ring as well is adjustable, so you can just kind of stretch it and make it fit your hand.
You know what? I wonder if that's worth putting in the
Description.
title.
Adjustable.
These are the hoops. Hold on.
I think some of them do say adjustable. It might just be in the description. I don't know.
Safety pin ring says just safety pin ring, 18 karat yellow gold.
That's a good point. Maybe we need to add adjustable.
Maybe
But I think
adjustable.
a lot of people who buy those safety pin rings already know they're adjustable. But yeah, maybe we should put that on the title.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. If I was on here, I would not have known that. But that's.
Well, I mean, you don't wear these rings.
This one does say. This one says adjustable here.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go in and fix it. You're right.
Because that's a great selling point. Like, buy once, you're done. You don't need to worry about.
I'll go tell
worry of having, because that's like the huge worry with a ring. Obviously, is you're gonna get the wrong size in.
Yeah.
But if you remove that worry, that's huge. What you have so far looks amazing. Honestly, like, cool. Looks incredible. Did you just type the logo out and that's it?
Yeah, I used a font I got off of Canva. That's something that you might want to subscribe to too, is Canva. I did all this myself. But you can outsource a lot of your graphics and creative for pretty cheap. And there's a lot of people overseas that do a great job. You can find on Fiverr. Actually, there are people here. I'm just shocked sometimes what people are charging, because I'm like, you guys aren't charging enough for your work. Based in the US, but
you can get some great logos for cheap now. Like it's like you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars to get a logo anymore.
Oh yeah, I have to be honest, I got our Bad Business Friends logo pretty cheap. I think it was like $10 or $15.
I mean, it works, right? Like, I don't think anyone cares, And
we had 2 theme songs done. I just tipped them at the end because they did a good job, but those were also like $10 or $15. I'm like, there's one kid, I think he put in hours of work, and he was really into it, and so great job. We didn't end up using his, but I was just so impressed, so I gave him this little tip.
That's cool. Yeah, I think just notions that I'm looking at, like, the big thing here is like you said, you can use a cheap theme and it's faster. Some of these, like you said, the free ones are faster, right?
Well, it's been tested too. Shopify
Right.
claims that debut has the highest conversion rate, or not debut,
That's
Dawn right now,
amazing.
because it is the fastest.
But the thing is, look at it once you fill it with great content. I mean, look at your product photography, how good it looks, right?
Oh yeah,
You
that's
fill
why
up,
I was saying you need to.
that's
That's
it.
the lifestyle photography and product to some extent, because I think
In reality, that's what's going to sell your products on e-commerce, right? Because like
exactly.
you want to see people wearing it. What's the size? And in my experience, I feel like product photography takes a lot of finding and trying, like trial and error with people, and finding the person who kind of gets your vision
Yeah.
and can capture it, kind of thing. And especially with jewelry is like very difficult to photograph
Yeah.
on white background and on lifestyle,
Oh
right?
yeah. I don't
It's
ever do that
super
stuff
difficult.
myself. I can't. I mean, I'm not a photographer to begin with, but
Yeah.
even friends who say, "Oh yeah, I'm an amateur photographer. Let me give it a shot." It's not turned out well.
Yeah, I had someone come in here recently, like last month, and she does great photography, phenomenal. Like she'll shoot professional teams down here, all this kind of stuff. And she's a customer, and she's like, "Dude, let me help you out." And she tries to shoot these pieces, and she stayed here for like an hour and a half and did not use one photo. And it's not because she's not great, it's because jewelry is a whole different animal, right? And the lighting is way different and all those different things. So we kind of had to pivot and like go, okay, what if you pull back a little more and you're shooting me with the jewelry or something, so that it's like the jewelry's not the main focus and you don't have to, worry, all this kind of stuff. All to say, I guess, yeah, it definitely takes some tinkering around and finding the right person who can get you that right vision, And I think you guys did a great job here. They look phenomenal.
I'm glad. Yeah. I don't know how honest your feedback has been, because so far you said everything looks good, and yeah, but
I mean, I don't have anything negative at the moment. Look, like, okay, if I were to be more critical, and this is still something I don't know, I feel half and half about, is the logo is plain, but I also, on the flip side of that coin, I don't have a problem with that. Like I like a clear logo. You know what? Okay, here's what maybe would be, maybe changing the logo to like a gold color or some
gold
kind of
color.
color, maybe like a gray, an off black, like a grayish or a
Yeah.
slate or something that's like,
I get the idea. The problem is on a screen that doesn't come across well. It's going to be too light.
yeah. That's honestly the only thing I could think is and even if it's a slate gray or something that's like off black, maybe it'll add some sort of
I feel like if you took a
character.
photograph of gold leaf and use that as a logo, it could come out.
Correct.
No, we're using on our packaging. I'll show you guys once it gets here. We're using gold leaf, yellow gold.
Oh, great. Awesome.
It's going to say Julesy in gold. So
yeah, I wonder if that would translate onto that. But once again, that's and like I said, I think it's great to launch with how you are now. That's something that I don't even think you'd need to change right now. So
very cool. All right, well, we'll see how this works upon launch, and I'll keep you guys updated. But you'll see that soon enough. And so yeah, hey, I guess for now that's it. We'll check back in a week, and I'll at
like
least
and
mention what's going on
subscribe.
with it. What's up?
I said make sure to like and subscribe, and more importantly, go to Julesy. Anyone who watches this, hopefully till the end, and buy out.
Well, not quite yet until we launch, or you can go now. If we really want to ask people to like and subscribe, when I watch other channels, most people ask that at the beginning of the episode.
yeah, or like at the latest in the middle, they're like, make sure to. But yeah, usually it's in the beginning now.
I think 99% of people viewing our content don't view the whole thing all the way through, so they're missing the part where we're asking them.
Makes sense.
So maybe we'll try that from
next video. We're gonna be like, all right, like, subscribe, and go shop at Julesy.
Let's open with that. Yeah, how's that sound?
Well, yeah, we'll talk offline. We'll see.
All right, talk to you again next week.
Bye.